Welcome to the Know. I'm Twinsy Jenkins.
And I'm Twinsy too.
Yay! The big talk of the week is Microsoft's sort of newly unveiled powerhouse console, Project Scorpio.
Yeah.
Reactions to the Xbox are coming in from all over the web after yesterday's tech reveal, and now industry analysts are throwing in their 2 cents as well.
Those 2 cents definitely come in all shapes and sizes, with some analysts claiming the new Xbox could cost as much as $700 and others saying this will finally be the year that Xbox beats PlayStation.
So it's another edition of analysts saying crazy shit on the Know, and boy, we've got all sides of the spectrum on this one.
Cool.
But first, a little bit of background if you're unaware of the details of yesterday's Scorpio reveal.
Digital Foundry had the big scoop on Scorpio, doing a deep dive into the system's hardware. That dive included Scorpio's tech specs, a CPU with 8 custom x86 cores clocked at 2.3 gigahertz, a super optimized GPU that nails the 6 teraflop performance figures they've been touting since they first announced it, and 12 gigabytes of super fast GDDR5 memory.
Now, according to their analysis, it easily transfers the PS4 Pro in terms of output and performance, which we were all already expecting. And its GPU is so well designed for modern gaming engines that Digital Foundry said it even seemed to give high-end GPUs like the GTX 1070 a run for its money based on tests with the Forza engine on PC and the Scorpio.
Of course, one of the biggest parts of all that ridiculous tech means that Scorpio is probably going to have a high price point.
Yes.
And since Digital Foundry pegged it as much more powerful than PS4 Pro, it's probably going to have a heftier price tag as well. And where that price lands and what Microsoft has to offer when Scorpio finally launches will ultimately determine the console's fate.
So, cue rampant industry speculation.
Okay.
Analysts have now signed on to talk about their take on Scorpio. They got all the hot takes and what they expect to happen once it hits the ground running later this fall. GamesIndustry.biz spoke to a number of these industry experts to see what they all have to say.
And those opinions cover the entire map. First,
so basically, whatever you want to happen, there's an analyst who agrees with you.
perfect. Like politics. First up, research from DFC Intelligence head David Cole predicts that Scorpio won't do much for Microsoft at all. Cole said Microsoft once was going to go after a broad consumer base, but now they are stuck targeting the bleeding edge of game consumers that want the highest performing hardware and are more concerned with specs than actual games.
He went on to say, in DFC's latest report on upcoming games, we noted that more and more developers are opting not to release Xbox One versions of their games this season. Project Scorpio does not give them reason to change that because it is really targeted towards core Xbox fans that are already converted.
DFC Intelligence is a bit of a naysayer, but they've always seemed to have a bit of a bone to pick with Microsoft's console strategy in general. Last year, following Microsoft's E3 presser, they said Microsoft killed the Xbox One S before they even announced it, which, judging by how well the S did in sales, wasn't really the case.
Yeah, well, they even said that Microsoft would leave gaming altogether, and went as far as claiming the next year would be so bad the company wouldn't even have a gaming division anymore by the time Scorpio launches.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a rough year for Microsoft last year, but not that rough.
I mean, it's still, though, DFC Intelligence, they're not the only one thinking the Scorpio won't exactly turn things around for Microsoft. For most analysts, it kind of depends on the price as well as software.
In the software department, IDC research manager Lewis Ward said, don't forget that AR, VR experiences will be layered into the mix as well. I think some Xbox fans will buy it not because they can run UHD videos at 60 frames a second, but because Microsoft and its partners come out with some compelling VR and AR games and related interactive experiences.
Ward also talked about the growing number of 4K TV adopters, which is set to double from 100 million worldwide to over 200 million by the end of next year. For techies looking for the best visuals for their purchase, Scorpio might be more enticing than the PS4 Pro. But again, that's going to depend on how much it costs and what the game selection for it is. And that, honestly, I think the 4K TV thing is going to be one of the hang-ups. But it's not like it stopped PS4 Pro from being successful, so I don't think it's any more limiting a factor for Scorpio. There's still a lot of people buying it, and the people who do have 4K TVs want really cool stuff to do with their 4K TVs, and that means they're gonna want the highest end of the consoles as well.
Gotta do something more than just watch slow-mo guy videos on it. Everyone's favorite analyst, Michael Pachter, aka the Pack Attack, he agreed, saying the price will matter, and if it is over $400, it might be a tough comparison to the PS4 Pro. If it is $400 or less, they should start to gain some share. 4K TV owners who are gamers will gravitate to a 4K console.
So all those price point speculations kind of all over the map with other analysts, because $400 is looking fairly, let's just say, optimistic.
Yeah.
Digital Foundry said based on what they'd seen of the tech, they pegged it closer to 500, which I also felt is still a little bit optimistic potentially. It'd be great if it can hit that, but that was the same for managers from other research firms, IHS Markit and RW Baird. They're also predicting a $500 price for launch.
But some analysts are going even higher than that in their assessments. IDC Research's Lewis Ward dropped a staggering figure of $700 for Scorpio. Ward said, "I estimate the basic hardware will cost around $650, so if Microsoft wants any kind of margin at all, Scorpio will have to retail for $700 or more."
Oh, it's cute. He thinks that console manufacturers typically make money on their launch hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those estimates are based on costs for comparable hardware and pre-built PCs from companies like Alienware, which end up retailing for around $1,000 because they kind of do like to make money on the product that they sell.
Yeah, but it's not all doom and gloom from the industry on Microsoft's chances to make a splash. Notable industry data firm NPD's Matt Piscatella went as far as saying Scorpio might be just the thing to push Xbox sales past PlayStation sales for 2017 at least.
Piscatella said, "I remain bullish on the Scorpio in the US market, particularly in the launch year. I think Scorpio has the potential to push Xbox One sales ahead of the PS4 in the US in 2017. Adoption among the core gaming audience could be significant."
That prediction is pretty bold considering how frequently the PS4 leads Xbox One in monthly hardware sales.
And that Scorpio isn't releasing until closer to the end of the year, which is going to make it difficult to make that huge of a difference. It would suddenly have to start selling like 4 times PS4 numbers.
Yeah, really fast. However, the Xbox One S did provide a momentary boost for Microsoft for several months in a row in the US late last year. Who knows, maybe the same thing will happen for Scorpio on an even higher scale, maybe?
That's what he's certainly hoping for and predicting even. Of course, Piscatella concluded that thought with one major caveat: all depends on the games. And really, that will ultimately be what cements the Scorpio as a bold move for Xbox or another misstep for the brand.
At the moment, the company is in something of a crisis when it comes to exclusives for the platform.
No, they got Sea of Thieves.
They're set.
I'm really hoping Crackdown 3 is good, to be honest. I know they teased us with it a couple years ago and then they took it away, but the Crackdown 1 was great.
It was?
Crackdown 2, not as strong, still liked it.
Yep.
But I'm also a sucker for Fable, so, you know, take that as you will.
Hopefully, all this early boring talk about specs means we can expect some megaton game announcements at E3, because seriously, what exactly are people supposed to play on this potentially $700 machine?
State of Decay 2. Netflix in 4K.
Yay! I'll buy a $700 piece of equipment to watch Netflix on?
I watch a lot of Netflix on my consoles.
You watch Charmed.
I do, I watch
That's
a lot.
not 4K.
I watch a lot. It's not even HD.
That's some stretched out chicks on the screen.
It's what's the opposite of Letterboxd, where it's got the lines on the sides because it was in 4:3?
Old.
It's that.
What do you guys think of Scorpio's chances this fall on the potentially really high price point? Let us know how much you'd pay for a Scorpio in the comments.
And for future updates on Xbox, be sure to like this video and subscribe to The Know. He's not a consoles.
Yeah.
I was really surprised that Microsoft didn't release some sort of tandem announcement with that at the very least revealed like what we're supposed to be calling it. There's no way they're leaving it as a Scorpio.
They could. Sounds like a character from like Beast Wars.
I've come around. I like the name Scorpio now, but it doesn't seem like their final name for it.